Yo, some of you have already seen my art before, and I guess some people are wondering how I got decent at art and if drawing every day helps. I think it does, but you shouldn't ask me because I don't draw every day. And when I do draw, it's not on traditional paper like this anymore. I draw on a tablet like this, and for the past week I challenged myself to draw every single day, but only 30 minutes a day. Wait, let's set the parameters first. Number one, 30 minutes is a hard limit. Whether or not I'm satisfied with the artwork, once I reach a 30-minute mark, it's done, it's GG, it's game over, goodbye. Numero dos, I'm not going to use the same drawing app that I use for drawing manga, which is Clip Studio Paint. Instead, I'm going to use an app called Procreate on iPad. It's a good app, but I don't usually use it, so it's going to be fun to experiment on. And number three, on that app called Procreate, I'm going to use 3 colors. Basically black, white, and because I'm going to play around with the opacities, you'll see some grays. And finally, as for the subjects, well, I'm basically exposing myself a bit here. I'm going to be drawing some of my celebrity crushes. And no, I'm not going to make photorealistic renditions of them because that's not my style. I'm going to try to mangafy them. And oh yeah, for fun, I'm not going to name these celebrities because I'm just going to give you context, and I'm going to let the captains down below in the comment section identify these women because yeah, they're pretty famous. This first girl is a Russian model that is primarily based in South Korea, and she rose to fame because of her Instagram account as well as her YouTube channel. Now she has a very positive outlook on life, and you can see it in her vlogs, so I like her for that. But let's talk about the art. Well, given the amount of time that I had, I think I like this drawing overall, especially the face area. I think that's where I spent most of my time on, so I think it turned out pretty good, and I already have a couple of observations even on this first drawing for the series. It's mostly muscle memory for me now, so I never really paid attention to how I start drawing faces, but I think I have 2 approaches for drawing faces now, depending on how much time I have. And I think the first approach is by drawing a circle, and I think a lot of artists do that. And by drawing a circle, it helps you kind of position the head inside the frame, and it also guides you with how to place the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and it helps you with proportions as well. But when I don't have a lot of time, what I do is my second approach, which is just starting with the eyes. I don't really pay much attention to everything else. I just start with the eyes and I go from there. Okay, this next lady, in my humble opinion, for my money, is quite easily, by far, the prettiest voice actress in Japan. No, in the world. And she's a chunibyo.
リッカは、リッカは、ちょっと久しぶりだからな。できるかなパニッシュメント、ディスワールドなの。
That's all you need to know. But what you need to know about this artwork was that it was a little bit tricky to navigate at the very beginning because the sketch was messed up. I messed up the proportions of the bottom half of the face, so I had to rectify that as I was drawing the darker lines. But I still think it looks decent overall, especially considering the fact that I was working with a blurry image because it was just a screen grab of a video I saw on Instagram. So yeah, you can see that actually on the hand over here. I tried to work with some lines to indicate that the hand was moving, so she was waving. Okay, so this next lady is a blast from the past for me because this was a screenshot taken from a teen drama from a long time ago back in the Philippines. And I remember thinking when I first saw her that she had a very simple, beautiful, girl next door kind of vibe, so that's why she's here. This one's a little bit niche, but I think some of you Filipino fans out there would recognize her. As for the drawing, I think the process was a little bit deceptive because it felt like I was on cruise control the entire time. However, something felt off, and it was only towards the end that I realized that the spacing between the eyes was not correct. So I had to change it at the very end. But overall, I felt like this piece was the most straightforward and maybe the, well, easiest to make. But that's probably because it was the most close-up image out of all of them. One thing you most likely don't know about me is that I'm a fan of figure skating. So we now go back to South Korea for who I believe was the best female competitive figure skater that I have ever seen. And one who was very rightfully nicknamed the Queen. Like, I mean, seriously, if you find out who she is and you watch some of her Olympic videos, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And I think you'll also understand me when I say that I'm a person who likes challenges. So the day after I drew the most straightforward drawing out of the bunch, I decided to choose a subject that was a little bit further away from the camera. And so we have this. And it was a very humbling experience, let me tell you. The details on the clothes especially, it was very hard to do, and I really couldn't do it, as you can see here. When you zoom in on the photo, you can see all those little lines and sparkles and shapes, and I couldn't translate all those shapes and details from the photo to this piece right here. So a humbling experience, and I know that some of you artists out there that are really fast and really good would have been able to do it, but I failed. I wasn't able to. For the next girl, we stay in South Korea with who I believe a lot of you would recognize at first glance because she's a very successful singer, dancer, and idol in South Korea, and she's a member of a group that has a huge following all over the world. And out of all the members, I think you would agree with me when I say that she has the best smile. A smile that I tried to replicate with this drawing. I'm not really sure if I did that successfully, but you can tell me what you think down in the comment section below. And yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot more to say about this one. It's just a pretty decent piece, and yeah, I'm okay with it. Hey baby, do you believe me? This next woman actually needs no introduction, especially if you watch Hollywood movies, because you probably would have seen her somewhere. She's been in a lot of dramatic movies like My Weekend with Marilyn, where she played Marilyn Monroe, The Greatest Showman, and Venom. Yeah, that Venom. Unfortunately, I don't think I did her justice with this drawing because this drawing doesn't look anything like her, and I really struggled also with her hair because the hair color actually factors in a lot when it comes to trying to draw in black and white. The overall form and the shapes of the hair and like the foreground and background, it's kind of messy. The strands are everywhere. And yeah, I struggled a lot with blonde hair, but I think the time also has a lot to do with that. So yeah, it was a learning experience. And finally, we circle our way back to Japan. Now, if you've seen some of my previous videos, you probably would have seen the girl on the posters plastered on my wall, and this is her. Basically, she's my favorite celebrity in Japan. And she's also probably the #1 female commercial model in Japan, as well as being in a ton of TV shows and movies. And this is the biggest hint, she was the main character in a series of movies based on a manga about Karuta. Yeah, that's a big hint. And purely by coincidence, this is my favorite artwork out of all the 7 pieces that I drew in the past week. I like the expression on her face, I like how I drew the eyes, and I like that I was able to balance out the thicknesses of the lines. Some of the lines are thick and thin, depending on where they are on the drawing. So, in 30 minutes, I was able to do this, and I'm kind of proud of it. 7 days. 7 days is not enough time to form a good habit or forget a bad one. But 7 days of drawing pretty women for 30 minutes each day was undeniably a fun experience for me. Plus, I learned something. You see, I'm the type of artist that usually obsesses over the details. When I try to make something, I try to cram as many details as possible, and I try to perfect the details that I put into the artwork that I start. But when you add a deadline to the mix, especially when you're making manga, that obsession is detrimental. and your approach to managing it can make or break the entire project. And with that said, I think I have to take the steps in order to address my own obsession with details. And whenever I get published as a mangaka, whether it be for a weekly series or a monthly series, I have an idea for something that I would like to print on a t-shirt that I would wear. Publication is better than perfection. Oh wait, I forgot. Because I really liked the final artwork that I drew, I decided to see what would happen if I used that as a sketch and if I had 2 hours and my favorite drawing app, Clip Studio Paint, in order to finish a piece. Now this is what happened.
So would it be cool to say, do you wanna escape without ending the night? We could drive through all of the city lights, or we could find a two-star place, just you and I. That'd be nice.
So yeah, that's the final piece. I like it overall, and if you like it too, and you want to see this and my other artwork that I showed you a while ago, you can check out my Instagram page. And if you want to support me, you can buy me a coffee or support me on patreon.com/Kusanagi420, because I'm not even joking. I'm a broke artist. I'll see you guys next time.